Yes! Good evening. You're on mute, Rox, in case you hadn't noticed. But good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How you doing? Welcome to, I'm not sure if we're the Wide Awake Show or the Real Relevant Radio tonight. I guess we're Real Relevant Radio because we're not going on camera. But we've got lots of stuff to talk about and some images to show. So, yeah. Rox, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. I'm surprised that we have gone live tonight without too many hitches. So far, so good. I'm live my end. I can see it coming out of the YouTube, the Facebook. Hopefully your YouTubes are live as well. Lovely to see you all in the chat room. Thank you so much for joining us, Rich. I'm very amped up for this evening's show. It's been a bumpy ride the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we'll get a chance to kind of delve into that. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. I think anyone who is making content and going against the narrative in the way that we are, shout out and massive love and respect to everyone who is. I think we all realize that very quickly you're fraught within your private life with an abundance of hurdles that are thrown at you for doing such, which is going public against the narrative. So yeah, I'm just very grateful to be here with you, Rich, and going to go forth and talk about the most important things that we're going to mention this evening. Again, shout out to everyone in the chat room. Over to you, Rich.
Yes. Yeah, shout out to everybody that's here already. We've got 21, says we've got 21 people. Just a quick shout out to the chat room. Ellie B, how you doing? It's good to see you. Mr. Mensa. These are just obviously
Nice.
the people that I've mentioned
Steve
so
Bailey.
far.
Steve Bally. Yeah. Sorry, Bailey. Bally.
Steve Bailey,
Yep.
Tom Budas, Matt Jones.
Nice.
Caucasian
I've not
Sasquatch,
been able to get the link out yet. I'm going to try and send the link out to some more people, as I know that they are having difficulty in finding the show.
And
Just
Mr.
had a couple of
Cheswick.
messages. Shout out to Mr. Cheswick. Much love to you and the family.
Mr. Cheswick.
Oh, lovely to see you.
Do you know, I dropped him a comment actually because he said, "Howdy, Rox. Hope you're well, mate. I'll try and catch it live." And I just said, funnily enough, we were talking about you today, Mr. Cheswick, reminiscing about times past and how far we've all come.
Yeah,
since,
it's been a long road. It has. It's been a very, very long road. As I said, there's been so many things along the way that have shaped us into the people that we are now. And we're still going forward and improving. But yeah, massive love and respect to you, Mr. Cheswick. Yeah, we had a bit of a heart to heart today, didn't we, Rich? About things that have gone on over the last few years, and I'm incredibly humbled to be in the position that I'm in just now and going forward, and taking the truth back out to the public as it so rightfully should be. The internet censorship that we're facing, the weird stuff that's going on online as well with views and jumping of numbers and whatnot. As you all know, we're much more comfortable out on the street speaking to people. So that is something that you are all going to enjoy seeing in the very near future, us going out and engaging with the public again. And that's not just myself and Rich. There's more involved than that. Go on, Rich.
Yeah, I was going to say, are we allowed to say anything yet? Do we want to say anything yet?
You can say whatever you like, Rich.
Yeah, but I'm talking about our friend Mr. Leaker and
yes, we've got much good news to share with Mr. Leaker. We'll get Mr. Leaker on soon. Much exciting information. Please make sure you jump over to that British channel, Martin Leaker's channel, and check out the tour. There's a few dates left on the tour over here in the UK. If you're in the UK, I really do strongly suggest you get in touch with him and get onto that tour. Birmingham, I believe, is on the 16th of April. I'm not sure if there's tickets left, but please, as I said, if we can find a link for Martin's channel to pop that in the chat.
I'm going to pop that in the chat now, Rox.
Yeah. I tried to get on the computer this evening. That didn't happen. My son tried to help me get onto his computer, and his computer just randomly went on him. So I don't have my Skype. I'm not on my computer just now, so I haven't got the facilities to do that. But it didn't stop us going live. That's why I'm saying I'm so surprised that we weren't, bothered more going live. So we are on YouTube just now. We're on Facebook. We're on Richard's YouTube. I'm going to try and get a link into the YouTube chat in the description for where you can see us over on, is it Odysee, Rich? Where is it? Where are we?
Rumble.
Where are we going to stream? Rumble. Right, Rumble.
I mean, we are on Odysee as well, but Odysee is actually linked to my YouTube. So anything that we do on YouTube goes to Odysee anyway, so I don't
Mhm.
bother streaming to Odysee. I just stream
Lovely.
to Rumble.
See,
Um,
simples, keeping it simples. That's what we like. That's what we like. So, what we can do before we shut down my YouTube and your YouTube is we can give maybe a brief synopsis of what we are going to talk about on tonight's show.
yeah, and
Uh,
we do actually have something to talk about before we move over. Something that is a
mhm,
bit more safe for YouTube and the
mhm.
like. And a very current, a very relevant subject with what's going on at the moment.
Yep.
Um, with Mr. Tesla,
Mhm.
and not just obviously we've got all excuse me, we've got the latest news about Twitter.
Mhm.
And here's by now. Do you know? I heard when I said to you it's 11%, and you said actually it's 25%, and
20
then
something. It's
and
20
then and then
something.
the next person said it's 9%. But
9?
what? Yeah, it's
Nice.
only 9%. But the thing is,
Right.
whatever it is,
Mm.
it's more than Jack Dorsey. He's the biggest shareholder, and therefore will have the biggest sway.
It's like a game of
Um,
cards, isn't it? It is like a game
yeah,
of cards. You know what? I see you and I raise you. All right? Raise you. It's exactly what
and
he's done.
I think it was Matt Walsh that I was listening to talking about it. It may
Mhm.
not have been, but I think it was. And he was saying actually what he's done, what Elon's done, is the best thing he could have done because he was talking about setting up a rival company,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
like Gab did and like Trump did. And when Trump first announced his social media, Matt Walsh kind of got a bit crucified for saying, "Nah, it's just going to fizzle out. It's not going to do anything. It's going to fizzle out. You watch."
Mm.
And it did because Trump isn't even using his own social media apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Elon would have been facing like you'd need in order to go up against the likes of Twitter, you'd need to
Billions.
be you'd need
Billions.
20 billion.
Bitcoin
You'd
money.
need up to like between 10 and 20 billion. And
Silly
okay, he
money.
does have it. He does have it, but the thing is, like Matt Walsh said, what's he going to do? Just set up another kind of copy of Twitter? You know, what could he bring? What would they bring to the table that's new? Would it just be another carbon copy? Basically, it's like, well, really stay with the one that's established. So the
Mm.
way he's doing it, going into the one that's already established and buying it being the
Mhm.
largest shareholder, now he can make changes from within. And if he can turn Twitter into what it used to be, or what we would like it to be, more of a advocate for the truth and
Of
with no
course.
censorship, then because all he has to do is operate within the guidelines that they say
Mhm.
to be able to be able to have that immunity to liable and stuff for what people are saying. I forget what it is, but you know that clause that says that because they're not editors,
Right. So
they
that
can't
is
be
where
held
we're at. So
responsible.
prior to Elon doing what he's done and becoming Twitter's largest stakeholder, right? Prior to that, the left were like, look, Twitter's a private company. It can do what it wants. All right. If it wants to censor Trump, it can censor Trump. I'm just using Trump as an example. Okay. If it wants to
Mm,
silence people for putting out the truth, they're a private company. Let them do what they want. Okay. Now Elon Musk has become Twitter's largest shareholder. The left is now, listen, Twitter's too important to be left in private hands. Okay. Can't just leave it in any private hands. Okay, so I feel like, do you remember just prior to going live, we were like, what's his angle? All right,
yeah,
because I've genuinely got a gripe with Elon. Okay,
yeah.
we're not just talking about the Tesla car going into space, and we could do a whole number on that if we wanted to.
Oh,
I I
SpaceX and yeah.
I can't add, like, I've followed Elon through his career. Like I've
Mm,
followed this guy from the get go, and like before I woke up to the fact that we weren't on a spinning ball and the man didn't go to the moon in the way we've been told so, and like all of that, I didn't put him on a pedestal, but I rated him. I was like, look, this guy
Mm.
could have gone to university. He got on the internet thing straight away. He was on Zip2. He did PayPal. Like, he's on it. He's been on it from the get-go.
You know,
But
with PayPal, that he's touted as being the brains behind PayPal,
mhm,
but actually all he was the money behind it. He wasn't the brains
right.
behind it.
So there you go. So there you go. Now, with this whole Tesla scenario, right? And well, as we know it to be, like, not the car company. I'm talking about Tesla and free energy, and we've got that whole scenario there. But let's take the fact that we've got Tesla as an alternative energy, right?
Mm.
Vehicle. Now, I'm going to put this as simply as I possibly can, okay? Because it's a genuine gripe, okay? It's a gripe that we're going to go into in much greater detail. But on one hand, I want the viewers to give us your comments as well. What do you think the angle is here? All right, because this guy has now projected himself. He's blown Jack Dorsey out of the water, and Jack Dorsey was his head was on everyone's pitchfork. Let's be honest,
Mm.
and it started out that he's bought X amount of percentages. So let's just round it off and say 10%. Okay. I don't buy into what the mainstream media is putting out there, but the New York Times is saying it's 10%. All right. So if we'll just quote one of them and say the New York Times, 10% stake in Twitter, right? News of this purchase, which makes the Tesla founder Twitter's largest shareholder, has sent the social media's platform share price soaring to 25%. Yeah. Now, on the flip side of this, we've got him making vehicles that don't help Earth or us as humanity in general.
Despite what people think, it's,
It's it's nuts, really. Like it like make it make sense to me, please, Rich, before I confuse everyone that's watching.
it's basically people are just really easily hoodwinked. Like they don't actually think into things. They just think that what's being given to them is what they're told is being given to them. So
Mm,
they say, "Look, we've got this electric car, and it's really good for the environment, and it's going to save you so much money on petrol, and electric cars are so much better than fossil fuels. That's not a sustainable way to power your car, right?"
mm,
But if you look into it and look into what goes into making an electric car, making the batteries for an electric car, and the real impact that has on the environment.
mm-hmm.
When you put the two side by side, it's like, hang on a sec, I thought electric cars were meant to be better than petrol,
Hmm,
but they're not, because because people just take things at face value and they don't bother looking into it. They just trust what they've been given to get a
mm-hmm,
nice, shiny, laminated poster with a picture of a Tesla on it and zero emissions. It's not zero emissions. It's actually more emissions than a petrol car,
mm-hmm,
averaged over a year.
mm-hmm.
They did a study back in 2018 that said that. Now
No,
maybe
and I'll
they've made them more efficient. Maybe they've made them better since then. Maybe they've changed the technology somehow, but I don't
mm,
think so. I don't think they've actually. They would
mm.
have surely they would have made a big song and dance about that, but they haven't.
No, and I like Awakened Alliance is saying we are going to go into this in greater depth today and actually later on this year, but they don't take into account any of the lithium mines and what goes on
Exactly.
behind the scenes with that. No one
See,
wants to talk
Clarice
about it.
Starling gets it.
Hmm.
Clarice Starling gets it. Not if you're an African child
There you go.
or South American or
Yeah,
Chinese, wherever they're mining the lithium. Oi
yeah.
oi, Borada.
Yay!
I
Flat
don't know how you say
thumbs.
it. I don't know how you say it for the evening, Martin. I don't know how you say good evening in Welsh,
Love
but I
it.
can say good day. Borada, mate.
Fab to see you, Martin. Thanks so much for joining us, darling. Shout out to you, sweetheart. Stephen Watson says it's all about control. It is. It's all about control, and the fact that no light is being shone on it genuinely concerns me, especially when we're talking about, um, the fact that the child labour. is an ongoing thing that happens to this day, just to mine. And you know, I don't know if any of you've seen some of the images of these mines. These are not like little mines that don't really
They're
make an
they're
indent into the
horrific
situation.
scars.
It's You've absolutely hit the nail on the head, Rich. Horrific looking scars that you would think, is this what we're doing? Is this what needs to be done in order to create these vehicles? If you look at every Tesla driver, they've got this look about them where they just look at you like you're a piece of SH1T because you're not driving one. And
Oh,
it's
do you know
like,
what?
really? Really?
Well,
If we
have you
actually
seen?
had a conveyor belt behind the car of everyone and everything that it was involved to make that car, I'm not sure they would want to drive with blood on their hands like that, because that's how I see it. They're driving with blood on their hands, Rich.
There you go. That's what a lithium mine looks like.
Take the mic. I'll be right back in 1 second.
No worries. So this is what a lithium mine looks like. I'm not sure what the distance is across here, but if you consider there's a small village or town, it's larger. That's a larger square footage there than the. It's bigger than the town next to it, basically, and it's just look at that, 350 meters, 800 meters, nearly a kilometer across, and deeper than the Eiffel Tower is tall. And then you got, when you consider that um, they do use child labor to mine in these mines. The Chinese use child labor. The South Americans use child labor. There's huge new South America
Mm,
mines opening up in South America, and then think Afghanistan. That whole debacle in Afghanistan, and suddenly Biden
yeah.
just basically gives it to China. Basically, it gives all of that lithium reserve to China. China
Mm-hmm.
controls about 80% of the market with as far as the minerals
Mm,
needed for um, for a for an electronic car. Um,
mm. So I know we're going to go into greater depth about this a little bit later on, but this is the yin and the yang for me. So we've got, you know, Elon thrusting himself into the limelight, doing what he's done with the shares. In the background, this is all going on, and people are still perpetuating and pushing forward the Tesla vehicles and whatnot. And as I said, there's a lot going on behind the scenes with what's going on in the production of these cars that are, you know, alternative energy. Um, I have a great bone of contention with these things, Rich, and it's
I
not
mean,
just going to go
it's just
away.
the thing is, it's classic. It's their standard MO. Look over here! Look over here! Look over here! Look over here! Oh, look at this! Look at this! This is great! Look at this! Look at this!
Yeah. So for me, and I'm just going to make a couple of statements, right? Toyota's chief says electric vehicles are overhyped, right? The president, Akio, AKIO, Toyota, said Japan would run out of electricity in the summer if all cars were running on electric power. The infrastructure needed to support a fleet consisting entirely of EVs would cost Japan between 14 trillion and 37 trillion, the equivalent to about 135 billion. Um, do you feel like you're being tricked, duped with this electric car scenario? Me personally, I'm not falling for it. Right? At any moment, they could cut you off, and people go, oh, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," but you could use a generator. You could use a generator, and you could hook it up. Okay, cool. Well, then let's explain this. Off the back of Elon doing what he's doing with Twitter, he's been asked to turn off Teslas in Russia. Yeah,
Why is that?
make that make sense to me. Elon's been asked to turn off Teslas in Russia as he makes superchargers free for people fleeing Ukraine.
Yeah,
Get out of town. Really? Look it up. Independent.co.uk, right? Just go on their website, have a look. The article came out today. Elon Musk asked to turn off Teslas in Russia as he makes superchargers free for people fleeing Ukraine. Right. Answers on a postcard, please.
See,
Mensa says he's been duped. Yep, we've all been duped. Every single one of us. Go on, Rich.
Yeah. I mean, this whole thing about this, Ukraine.
Hmm?
You got people fleeing, and then you've got stories about certain groups operating within Ukraine that are executing anyone under the age of any man under the age of 50 or whatever it is, who appears like who isn't fighting, basically, who isn't getting involved, and who appears to be deserting or whatever. I think what's going on there, I think the people that are leaving aren't leaving because they're scared of what Putin's doing. I think they're leaving to let Putin get on with it and sort out their country because of who's been in charge there for the last, since 2014. We've got this constant question, like hanging over Tesla. Who are you? Are you a white hat or a black hat? Which one are you? Which side are you on?
Answers in the chat room if you can hear us on that one. So press 1 if you think Elon Musk is on the side of the light bearers, and press 2 if you think he's, still deep state vibes. Press 1 if you think he's not non-deep state. Press 2 if you think he is deep state. Let's have a little interesting bit of interaction from the viewers.
You know me, Rox. You know me, and you know what I'm like about my strong feeling that I'm able to read people quite well. If I get a strong feeling about somebody, and ever since day one, I had a strong feeling about Tesla. That he definitely wasn't who he says he is. Like, he's not. I actually thought
Got an abundance of twos, Rich. Go on, carry on.
I thought for a long time that Tesla actually looked really uncomfortable in his skin. Like Men in Black, when the guy, the alien takes the skin of the other guy and puts it on, and it sort of doesn't really fit him properly, and when he's trying to talk. That's what Elon Musk reminded me of, and I thought, well, maybe I could put it down to being purely he is incredibly self-conscious. And I'm sure he is, but he always seems to have this duper's smile on his face. A bit like Bill Gates. Except Elon Musk isn't obviously guilty of the things that Bill Gates is guilty of, and so it's less it doesn't bother me so much with Elon, because if he's an actor, I think he's an actor. I think Elon Musk is an actor, 100%. The guy playing Elon Musk is 100% an actor.
It's dodgy. It's dodgy dealings, Rich. It's dodgy dealings. I'm with the original remit. Look, to start playing with the big boys with these social media platforms, Meta and all of this, and Jack Dorsey and Mark Zuckerberg and all of that. Like, let's just see what happens. Let's see what happens. I'm not sure what to make of it at the moment. I think this is one to watch. I feel that there's a lot more facets of going on with Elon Musk than even we've scratched the surface on this evening. Everything that you look at with Elon Musk, there's depths to it. There's dark depths as well. I don't know. He could be a white hat in amongst a sea of dark, trying to shine a light on things and bring people's attention to stuff that they wouldn't ordinarily be aware of otherwise. So again, I think it's one to watch. Everyone in the chat room, I've got loads of two front puppet. I'm with you on that one, Stephen Watson. I think front puppet. That pretty much sums it up. Esra says he's got too much money. He's got too much money. Truth Seeker says 5. Love that. Elon Musk is creepy.
Love seeing his windows. Love seeing his windows get smashed in that promotion, dude. I saw that as well, and that was absolute gold.
Is he still with that weirdo girl as well? That's like beyond.
Oh,
Goth,
the
man.
singer, the singer rapper girl.
What's her name?
What's her name?
She's a weirdo, bro.
Yeah, she is a weird one.
I have to say this because, like, there's a time to be prim and proper about things, and we can be eloquent about describing things, but you just have a look at a few images and you just be like, really, what's going on here? Really, well, it's just weird. She, dresses up like an alien sometimes, and she's like genuinely taking herself seriously, going about looking like an alien. I mean, I'm all for dress up for sometimes, but
I think
there's a
she
time
does
and a
that
place.
cosplay stuff. She's really into cosplay and stuff. I think that's what that is. Dagon Morning Star, how you doing?
Lovely to see everyone. And listen, amazing interaction in the chat. I really am appreciating all of the input in the chat. Thank you so much to everyone who responded to that question. T-Bone Jones, I'm not a flat earther, my lovely, but I do know we're not living on a spinning ball. I do have much love and respect for a lot of people that claim themselves to be flat earthers because they also know they're not on a spinning ball. But I would rather say that I'm a globe denier than a flat earther. I've denounced the globe that I've been taught because I've seen it's demonstrably.
I'm a flat realmer.
Laughable. Flat Roma. Oh, I love that. Everyone in the chat, can you label yourself? What would you label yourself as? If you could label yourself as something, what would it be to do with? We're talking about the shape of the place that we live in or where we live. What would you label yourself as? I'm really interested to see where you're all at with that. As I said, I would call myself a globe denier, but I have one of my best pals, Adam Meakin, is a flat earther, and I wouldn't have him any other way. Would you, Rich?
Hey, no,
I wouldn't have him any other way.
The thing is, as well, on the other side of it, I've got a good friend and sort of he's a co-producer, co-channel creator. I was on a live with him. We were actually, he was live for 12 hours in total, and I was on for about 9 of them or something. And we had such an in-depth, really deep conversation with they're all scientists. These guys are all scientists, and they all believe in the spinning ball. They all believe that the space is real and galaxies exist, and so like our conversation was talking about. He's talking about us moving through the galaxy planes, traveling through the galaxy, traveling through the universe. And I said, well, yeah, absolutely. The frequencies and everything's changing. But I think I think because the ancients had such a good map of the stars, it's because they understood that the stars are an outward expression or reflection of the consciousness of the earth or something. It's like and it was an unchanging map. This is the thing I forgot to bring up with them. Actually, it's an unchanging map. How is it that 5,000 years later the constellations are still in the same place if we're traveling through space at 247,000 miles an hour?
Yeah. Love that. I love that. Listen, shout out to all of you in the chat room as well. Hippie Shake says
Hang on, who is this? Who is this T-Bone Jones? I think Riley will go back to the globe like Ranty did. Who is this dickhead even bringing up fucking Ranty? Who is he?
Either way, we've got a lot of interactions from people that are telling us they're a globe challenger. We've got a globe skeptic. We've got an anti-globalist no ball. Awakened Alliance 2 says dimensional, I believe, shapes mean nothing. Just my opinion. Tetrahedral hologram. I love it. Crater Earther. I love that too. I love that.
Fluid
I like
dynamic.
someone said Flatty as well. I saw Flatty in there. I love that.
Flat thumbs forever, man.
Yeah, big
Flat
time.
thumbs forever.
big
Like
time.
the thing is, the most annoying thing about it is the only reason I object to the label Flat Earth is because it's been
Yeah.
turned into a trigger label
Mhm.
that switches people off, and we identified that about 4 years ago. That's
Mm.
why we pushed forward with Globe Denier. But it is, you know, some people do need labels, and it, you know, it's like the Tartarian thing.
Mhm.
A lot of things are getting labeled Tartaria just because, you know, because they're old, and we don't believe the narrative that's being put
Mhm.
forward. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's Tartarian. It's just a label that kind of simplifies it and, you know, brings it into a bracket, basically. So you've got all these sub brackets, but the main bracket is Tartaria. It's the same with the same with Flat Earth, really. Flat Earth is more about denying the narrative. It's not about saying we know that we do know that the Earth is flat because it is observably flat. Nobody can deny it. Nobody can say, "Oh, tell you what, mate, I got up this morning. When I got out of bed, I thought I was going to fall off, just roll over like down the side of the Earth, man." Because it felt like we tilted to one side. Or I got out of bed this morning, I was completely spun around. I couldn't stop feeling the fact that we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. You know, it's like your common sense and your five senses, which were given to you to determine your place,
Yeah.
tell you that you're stationary and that everything around you is flat. And that if it wasn't flat, you wouldn't be able to stand up straight.
Good point. Good point. We've been going for just over 30 minutes. I'm going to bring my YouTube to a standstill now. If you want to do the same with yours, Rich.
Yes,
We are going
we'll
to be
do.
over on Rumble. Just search the Wide Awake Show
I'll tell you
live
what
on
we'll do.
Rumble. If you're able to
How
put
I
a
like to
link
do this
in.
one, Rox. How I like
Yeah.
to do this. If we'll just have a quick break. It'll
Mm-hmm.
give people a chance to go and have a quick pee or put the kettle
Yeah.
on or whatever. And yeah, when the video finishes, we'll end. That's when YouTube will be ending. So please come over
Right.
to Rumble. If you haven't, let me drop the link here.
Please do. Yep. Shari Lives. Ives, we're popping the link into the chat. Arthur FE says, I'm proud to know Flat Earth, and I know it's true because it's not a stupid belief like globe believers do. Shout out to you.
Yes. Hey,
Rich
that
has popped the
rhymes.
link. Can you pop the link in the private chat as well so I can take it from there? And if you could telegram me that link as well, that'd be ace. Dagon, don't worry, the link's we're not going anywhere until everyone's got that link. Squirrel Sniper. No, I don't believe. Do you need to sign up to Rumble, Rich, to watch Rumble?
Right, now I don't know because I didn't think that you did, but somebody has told me that you do.
If you don't
I
want
don't
to,
know.
Squirrel, you are
You have to
able to go
sign
to
up.
Facebook.
It's just like Insta or Facebook
Yep.
or YouTube. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
comment, if you want to leave a Rumble rant, then you have to
Yeah.
be signed in.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. So Clarice Starling said only if you want to comment, I think. So yeah, the as Rich said, it's gonna play on through, and the link will be there in the chat for you all. We'll make sure it's in the description as well. So if you've not watched this live and you're watching this on a playback, please look at the description as well. You will see the link there.
and if you are on YouTube, trust me,
Mm-hmm.
you want to come over to Rumble because it's going to get juicy
Definitely.
now.
Very juicy. Very, very juicy indeed. So yeah, take it away, Rich, and everyone click that link.
Oh crap! I didn't choose a video.
Well done.
We're gonna play. I tell you what, we'll play a nice. We'll play a nice. One of my favourites. This is Red Pill Trill.
Yeah, this is gonna be a bit mad, like the way I've written it and that. Do you know where we go from here? Do you know Where we go from here, I got no idea. It just feels like we're going round in circles. Tell me, do you feel the same? And nothing seems to change. I know they say patience is a virtue. I just wanna turn the page. Are we living in a cage? This world got me feeling like a germ. What's the aim of the game? How'd I stay in my lane when progression moves slower than the turn? Where we go from here, I got no idea. It just feels like we're going round in circles. Tell me, do you feel the same? And nothing seems to change. I know they say patience is a virtue. I just wanna turn the page. Are we living in a cage? This world got me feeling like a germ. What's the aim of the game? How'd I stay in my lane when progression moves slower than the turn? Where'd we go from here? Do you know? Where we go from here? Do you know? Is the question. I'm just looking for directions. They say the blind leads the blind, but what's the use to your eyes if everywhere you look there's deception, designed to warp your perception. The lies get applauded, but the truth gets an awkward reception. Critical thought is a weapon, or that's how it feels when you're caught in possession. Won't be a good slave, ignore the oppression. Got fire in your soul, they call it aggression. They even want us in the morgue or detention, form of depression or distorted connections. Turn your daughter into a whore with infections. Got your son thinking drug lords is profession. The ones enforcing the laws never mention. Judges watching child porn with a morbid obsession. Probably snorting wrong before the court is in session. Where'd we go? Where'd we go from here? Do you know? Where we go from here? Sick of living in a war zone like it's Baghdad. My ex threw everything I owned in a black bag. I broke a phone, she spat in my boat like I'd have that. I grabbed her by the throat and I spat back, trying to type a postcode into the sack now, but had nowhere else to go, so I scratched that and just sat there, looking up at the sky with a blank stare. There's no solid foundations, just stand here. Noisy neighbors, racists and shanks here. Limitations, masons and tanks here. Starvation and slaves to the bank here. I feel skanked here. Where we go from here, I got no idea. It just feels like we're going round in circles. Tell me, do you feel the same? And nothing seems to change. I know they say patience is a virtue. I just wanna turn the page. Are we living in a cage? This world got me feeling like a germ. What's the aim of the game? How'd I stay in my lane when progression moves slower than the turn? Where we go from here, I got no idea. It just feels like we're going round in circles. Tell me, do you feel the same? And nothing seems to change. I know they say patience is a virtue. I just wanna turn the page. Are we living in a cage? This world got me feeling like a germ. What's the aim of the game? How'd I stay in my lane when progression moves slower than the turn? All this going round in circles makes me nauseous. Is this the Matrix? Cause if you're Morpheus, I'll leave now and meet you at the coordinates. I refuse to be subordinate or an ornament. While there's a war on the poor and less fortunate, the black mortality rates are disproportionate, competing with each other like it was a tournament. While the elite are eating popcorn in the audience, the promises the politician makes are fraudulent. Still we wait for a glorious metamorphosis. Will the underdog ever be victorious? I'm just curious. Where we go from here? Where'd we go from here? I got no idea. Do you know where we go from here? Where we go from here? I got no idea. If you see me at the crossroads, can you help me? Cause I'm feeling kinda lost, bro. They say I must grow. Where it's cold in Moscow, I kinda feel at home when my ops roll. If you see me at the crossroads, can you help me? Cause I'm feeling kinda lost, bro. They say I must grow. Where it's cold in Moscow, I kinda feel at home when my ops roll. Do you know where we go from here? I got no idea. I just feel like we're going around in circles. Tell me, do you feel the same? That nothing seems to change. I know they say patience is a virtue. I just wanna turn the page. Are we living in a cage? This world's got me feeling like a jerk. What's the aim of the game? How'd I stay in my lane when progression moves slower than a turn? Where we go from here? I got no idea. I just feel like we're going around in circles. Tell me, do you feel the same? And nothing seems to change. I know they say patience is a virtue. I just wanna turn a page. We're living in a cage. This world got me feeling like a jerk. What's the aim of the game? How'd I stay in my lane when progression moves slower than a turn? Progression moves slower than a turn. Yeah, man. You know? Just thinking out loud, man. Red pill trill. Where we go from here, man? Someone give me a map or something, man.